Slacktail Squad, assemble.
If you are listening to this, you are a member of the great Slaptail Nation, my nation. And who am I? I'm the Beaveman, master of the universe, creator of all things great and small, and Lord High Commander of the great Slaptail Nation Army. And with me today is my number two, and my number two's not here, the Swan. Say hello, Swan.
Hello, Swan.
Nice job. What have you been up to today?
Oh, not much.
Also with us today, and it doesn't work so good with you.
Doesn't work so good with
Also
me.
with,
No.
is
I'm not
also
gonna
with
fall
us
for
today is comedian, funny man, Mike Cotayo, back for round two. It's
What's
not.
up, guys?
It's an audio medium, Mike. When you wave, no one can see it. Yeah, you're just waving at us. Nobody can hear you wave. Nobody can hear you
You
wave.
have to make sounds when you wave.
You have to make sounds when you wave.
I'm special. Hi.
That's all right. Did you want to? I was asking you earlier. We should have recorded earlier. We missed some fun
It
times.
was
I always do
funny.
that. I'm always like I should have hit record, but I didn't. I actually have a sticky note on my computer that says hit record because I've done it sometimes where we went like 20 minutes and I was like, you guys are gonna be really mad at me.
Especially when it's hilarious, and then we can't even reproduce that shit. It's sad.
It's terrible.
It's awful, and then
Terrible.
it ruins the whole vibe for like the rest of it because we're like, we can't even come up with something as funny as what we had.
No.
That's okay.
I think that I said earlier, if you you said you were working today. Did you have shows that you had to do today?
No, I was trying to get booked places, and I am the worst at this. I don't have any self-confidence, and I'm like, I feel like a needy little bitch. Like when I reach out to people, I'm like, hey, please pick me. And they can hear my voice go up 2 octaves in the email. It's just, I'm so pathetic. So,
That's pretty crazy for somebody who refers to, his penis is the Incredible Hulk. Do you think that all comedians are pretty self-conscious, have like low self-esteem?
Oh yeah, we all have low self-esteem. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. It's awful.
It's awesomely awful. Think about it. We rely on you guys to laugh at our jokes. That's a lot of pressure for you guys. Please laugh at me.
Yeah. Well, I know you've probably listened to all of my previous podcasts.
Oh, without a doubt, every single one.
But I did one. We did one before where I said that I think that
I jerk off to the sound of your voice nightly.
Thank you.
My wife is like, "Why are you listening to the Beaveman again?" I'm like, "Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on."
You should probably share your earbuds with her because then she would be coming too.
No, you're on mine.
And then she can scream out my name instead of your name. That would be fine. I'd be okay with that. I have my own little fan club. No, we did a podcast where I said that I think that being a stand-up comedian is probably the hardest job on the planet. And that probably most comedians are running around with mental disorders that are probably all really depressed and have bad anxiety.
Oh my God. I have a touch of bipolar. My wife is like, "You've been manic for about a week." I'm like, shit.
Oh,
Because that means I'm gonna go into a depression for about a week.
yeah, that's not a great thing. This
No.
might cheer you up though. I was thinking about this the other day after you were on and we were talking, and I was wondering. This is what struck me the other day. I was watching porn the other day, and I'm a big fan of porn.
What's your favorite type of porn?
Two guys and one girl. That's my favorite.
Really? Why?
Why?
But that's not the type of porn you would want to be in.
There's a difference between
Right.
porn and sex.
Okay,
Swan.
gotcha. All
Porn
right.
is what we watch. Sex
Okay,
is what
yeah.
we have. No,
Okay.
I like to watch two guys and one girl.
Okay.
because well, for one thing, there's a misconception of that. And the misconception is this, is that when people watch that, some people watch that, they're like, oh, there's two guys giving it to this girl, but the person who's in control is the girl. That's my opinion. But that's what I like to watch. But I'm watching it the other day, and I realized that I find very large penises to be frightening and disturbing, basically terrifying. And not so, and it's not because I'm intimidated by a large penis, because I mean I don't have a large penis. I don't care so much. If I had,
Sorry, Swan.
yeah,
I mean, it's not like it's like this big or anything, like pinky size. It's just not gigantic.
No,
it's
but
on the average.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, here's
average.
the thing. I mean, I don't think there's too many guys that wouldn't say,
It
you know
gets
what?
the job
Right.
done. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
I don't want a 10-inch penis. Like, why would you think that would?
I'm glad
even
you
be
don't
fun?
have a 10-inch
Right,
penis.
exactly.
Yeah, you said you don't want a 10-inch.
don't
That makes it
want
sound
to
like you
be-
don't want a penis.
I don't want a penis, but I also don't want to be like in charge of a 10-inch penis because you're never gonna put that.
No, imagine being in charge of a 10-inch penis.
it would be
You
kinda
sit
fun.
there.
Well, that was kind of getting to my point, was that I can't imagine. I mean, if I had a magic genie and I could have a wish, I'd say, yeah, maybe like another inch or something, maybe a little bit more girthy. But I can't imagine managing, like you said, this giant penis. I saw this giant penis the other day, and it was so big. And I'm like, okay, I can
How
respect.
big was it?
It was big. I'm like, I could respect the giant penis. But then this was the part that was devastatingly terrifying, was he had this tiny head. It was like someone took, well, like my head, and put it on this giant penis. And so the entire time I was like, this is terrifying. I don't think that's right. And so the whole
It's
entire
like
time.
a torpedo at that point.
And so it was like this acorn stuck on the end of this giant girthy penis. And I was terrified the whole time. And I was just so preoccupied with this tiny penile head that I was like, is that thing gonna get bigger? I mean, is it gonna fill out? Like, is it gonna get to full mushroom size? So I was so occupied with that I'm like, while I'm watching porn,
You forgot the girl was there.
I totally forgot the girl because I was terrified by this penis. And so I'm like, at the same time, I'm Googling, is it normal to have a giant penis and a tiny head? And so I totally lost all track of the porn that I was watching because I was so terrified by this giant penis.
Well, all that I could think of when you said that was all I thought about was a balloon animal, like just like a big old thing and a little tiny knob at the end.
That would have been acceptable, I guess, but
I once saw this in person, this pencil dick, like this hard dick that was the size of a pencil and it was long. And I'm like, this is kind of scary. Like, that is scary in and of itself. Could you imagine a fuck like this? It reminds you of like a gnat kind of hitting you.
well, I've handled a lot of penises in my day, and I know that always sounds weird when I say it. But as a male nurse, and when I was a male nurse aide in the emergency room, I had to handle a lot of penises. There's an unwritten rule in the emergency room, and I'm sure probably in most floors. If you're a man and somebody needs to have something done with their penis, like having a cath because they can't pee, the men cath the men. The women, we don't expect the female nurses to go cath the men. And the same thing, they're like, it's a favorite that they do. They're like, well, they don't expect us to go cath the females. It's not a comfortable thing. So I've seen a lot of penises. I've unfortunately held a lot of penises, and some of them are really terrifying. And so I can't imagine being on the receiving end of that terrifying cock that is so big that basically that person loses. They get lightheaded every time they get an erection.
How about this? We need a lot of tube in here.
I almost ran. I had one time that this guy's, his penis was so big, I thought that I had it. Literally, I was all the way up to the hub of the catheter, which is the little, basically, where it splits. I was all the way at the end before I got in the bladder. And I was like, this is fucking terrifying.
I think you got to scrunch it down at that point.
It was just amazing.
But then you're too invested in the penis and you lose your straightdom.
Yeah.
I just felt like I had to tell you that story and I forgot all about it. I was like, I wanted to tell you that story, but there you go.
since we're sharing, I miss sucking dick. It's been a while.
Oh
So
yeah.
how do you navigate that if you miss sucking dick?
How do I eat a banana. I go down on a cucumber. There are ways.
You're like, I miss it
I
so
find a
bad.
nice gork and pickle.
You're like, I gotta keep it fresh. I gotta switch it up a little bit. Now, how long have you been with your wife now then, currently?
We've been together 2017. We were dating 2017, so and we closed it up pretty early on. Like we started dating April Fool's Day, and by the summer we were closed up.
Wow.
And
Closed up, what does that mean? That means no butt sex?
no, it means that I wasn't having sex with anybody else.
Oh, okay. I don't understand these terms because I'm old and
Sorry.
Been married forever, so
we've been married a while. So
And it means she put a butt plug in my ass.
She's like, no more, buddy, no more.
I was when we met, I was running a sex party in Chelsea in Manhattan. And like when we started dating, we've known each other 15 years. When we started dating, I was running a sex party in Manhattan, and I had to give it up because I was so afraid of getting an STD and giving it to her.
what do you mean? I'm so oblivious now. Like, what do you mean you were running a sex party? What the fuck does that mean?
So me and a friend of mine were running the sex party. Like we would go down, collect the money, watch people have sex, like have sex. We were in charge of the sex party.
Where is this in my life? Why don't I have who's not inviting me to these things?
Well, it was a gay sex party, so I don't know if that's your cup of tea. Although you could have seen a lot of penises.
I mean, if there's gay sex parties, there's got to be straight sex parties.
There are. They're just
Who's not inviting me to these things? Are you allowed to eat popcorn when you go? I mean, can you just sit there and like,
Oh yeah, I sit there with the bowl and just watch people. Like
that's freaking awesome.
I feel like our friends were talking about that. Wasn't that what they were talking about?
This is what happened. When we have conversations like this, I just think back on how I've invited people I work with to listen to my podcast. Like, you guys should really listen to my podcast. I've known you for like a year now, so you should really start listening to my podcast. Because right away I don't tell people I have one because there's a difference. There's the professional me and there's the podcast me. That's the actual me. The professional me is
I get it.
That's not actually me. This is me.
How long have you been immersed?
21 years.
Oh wow, is that where you guys met?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
in
in
nursing
nursing.
school.
Yeah, we went to
Yeah.
nursing school together.
How romantic.
Well, I was married for the first semester.
Right?
That's it.
Not
Did you
because
break up?
No.
Did
nope,
you break up the marriage?
Nope. We were just friends in nursing school. So yeah.
I was so my wife and I were friends, and we met when we were in our early 30s, and she had a crush on me, and our mutual friend told her I was gay, and so she never pursued me.
Uh-huh.
And if she did, we probably would have had very different lives. But she ended up getting married to somebody, and they ended up having a kid. And then I started having an affair with her while she was still married to her ex-husband. And then they broke up, and then we got married, and they introduced us by his last name. So we allowed him to move into our basement.
Say what?
That's all sorts of fucked up, but that's okay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys get along, that's all.
We all get along.
Yeah, if that's
He's
all
a great guy. I mean,
yeah, I think that people put too much stock in relationships. Actually, not to insult the Swan, but I think that some people take relationships way too seriously. Like if you were married to somebody for 20, 30 years and you got divorced and everybody's like, oh, what a shame. They got divorced after 20 to 30 years. Like, no, they probably consider that a pretty successful marriage and it's just over.
My wife was with him for over 20 years. So that is intimidating for me. This is my longest relationship I've ever been in.
Well, you probably shouldn't. She definitely shouldn't hear that you miss sucking cock.
I tell her all the time.
I mean, she
I
could get you a toy.
And she's like, me too.
You guys could like share that double-ended dildo. Like one for you, one for you.
Again, another podcast she can listen to. We the other night after our podcast, I brought up to her how she hasn't sucked me off since Ireland, and she's like, "You know why? You held my head down."
Oh well.
You're like, no, I thought you had something in your hair, and I was just getting it out of your hair. They probably do that. They do have like suction cup penises, though. What you could do is you could just stick it to her forehead, and then while you're having sex with her, you could suck a dick.
Oh my god!
I'm just looking out for you. I think that's pretty reasonable.
I mean, then she's getting what she needs, and you're getting what you need.
Listen, I love having sex with my wife anyway. But there's just like if you were told you could only have vanilla anymore, wouldn't you miss chocolate?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I miss chocolate all the time.
You were a weird one. Yeah.
No, let's see. I told you the penis story. Oh, there was another question I had. You probably don't have very much time to watch TV because you're a busy guy. You're probably writing all the time and hustling all the time to get shows and get gigs.
I love how you put me up on this pedestal. Thank you. Like I wake up and watch TV and then I get started and then I take my kid to school and then I start doing work.
Okay, well, I just assume that you are nonstop thinking of bits and things to talk about, and
it's true. Stuff. I do.
Yeah.
But it's not all linear. It's like I rest here, and then the other day I was working on booking stuff. I literally did 2 hours at the computer, an hour on the couch. 2 hours at the computer, an hour on the couch. Because I was so depressed. I'm like, this is awful. I'm getting nowhere.
You don't sit down every day and like Jerry Seinfeld, like, oh, you know what? I'm going to write a bit about stop signs. And he just sits there for 2 hours writing jokes about stop signs.
I've done that.
Because he's such a genius.
But not in the Jerry Seinfeld way. I fucking hate him. He's a douchebag.
I'm not gonna say my opinion. I think everybody knows my opinion. I think everybody knows my opinion.
No, I don't know your opinion.
I don't even think he's funny.
I don't think he's funny.
Me neither. And I've watched him in interviews, and he seems so egotistical.
He's such a dick. No offense. Well, I guess I mean offense. I mean, he's never gonna listen to my podcast, but he is. I mean,
I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna
go ahead.
Who was
then we'll just be like, fuck you, Jerry Seinfeld. And if you have a problem, come to our dojo.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Yeah.
No, he was on, I think Mark Maron interviewed him, and he was just really just treating Mark Maron like shit because of the type of comedy that Mark Maron does. Because, Mark Maron swears or whatever. And he's like, it's not necessary. Nobody needs to swear. It's not funny. I'm like, well, that's your opinion. It doesn't matter. I mean, if, that's your thing. I know that everybody thinks you're God, but.
He's a D-bag.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. He's a billionaire and he likes to marry young people. Whatever. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, never going to listen to me. So, well, maybe you never know. I mean, I don't know.
You never know.
Probably not.
Listen, when I get famous, I'll be like, Jerry, you got to hear this podcast. this guy loves you.
This guy's a dick. Listen to this guy. No.
He doesn't curse at all.
Yeah.
No.
I can't go too long without cursing.
So remember that one year when you're like, I'm giving up swearing. How long did that last?
I think I did pretty well, if memory serves me correctly. But it's not fun. It's not fun to not swear.
No.
It just isn't. There's a time and a place for it, but my God, there's nothing better than sometime that just saying, shut the fuck up.
Do you think he swears during sex? He's like, fork you. Like, no.
Fork you.
Yeah, this is my penis. What's up with that?
What's the deal with penis?
Yeah, what's the deal with my cock, huh? Put it in your mouth.
I don't think cock is a word that's allowed either.
What?
I don't think if you don't swear, you can't use the word cock. That's probably not
What's the
appropriate
deal
either.
with vaginas?
Exactly.
It's not from Virginia. It's a vagina.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
It is terrible. As are never mind.
My dad loves Seinfeld.
The show or him?
The show.
I
The
like.
show.
I mean, I like the show because the characters are cute. The characters are kind of funny.
I don't even like the show.
Yeah, I didn't like the show either.
It's not.
My
If you watch it now, it's not funny. I don't think it's funny now if you watch it.
I didn't think it was
Right.
funny then either. So, nope, not a fan.
my mom loved like so in 2004 or so, right before I started to get paid for stand up, I did this show where Jim Gaffigan was the headliner, and my dad came up to me at the end and goes, "You and that Hot Pockets guy were the two funniest ones on the show," which is great because
guy.
my dad never paid me a compliment, so I held on to that for years. My dad told me I look like Tom Cruise, and then in the next breath goes, "Yeah, I never thought he was that attractive."
That's harsh.
Yeah, that's like when I got my doctorate.
Oh, you're a Dr. Beaveman. Oh, I
No,
just made you Jewish, Beaveman.
No, I remember that not too long after that, my brother got like became a minister. He was already acting like a minister, but he got like, I don't know what they call him, ordained or whatever they do or whatever, as a Baptist. And we had this big party for him.
He bathed in the blood of Jesus.
Yeah, something like that. And we were having like this party for him. And I said, "Yeah, hey, really good job." I said, "But here, I got news for you. Mom still doesn't care because you're not a priest and because I'm not a real doctor. She's never going to be proud of either one of us." I had this other question. Okay, so back to the TV thing. So we're watching TV yesterday. Have you seen that show, The Last of Us? It's on HBO.
Yeah, I would watch the 2 episodes. I need to catch the third.
Okay, well, I guess I can't ruin it then.
No, tell me. I have no memory. Go ahead.
Okay, if you've got no memory from from a head injury or whatever, then I'll just ask you this. So we're watching the show, and I love Nick Offerman. You know who Nick Offerman is from Parks and Rec. Plays Ron Swanson. I love Nick Offerman. We're watching the show.
Oh, that's like a combination of the Ron and Swan. Yeah. Ron Swanson.
No, not even close to that.
It's like when you put the two together.
I actually did mention that one time when you put them together. They're Ron Swan, but yeah, I did mention that. But they're not that person. So anyway, he's in the show in this episode. I don't want to ruin it too much.
Right.
But I'm watching it and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna make his character gay. And I was like, I don't know. If you've ever seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine also, and he plays a gay person, married to the was he like the chief or the commissioner or whatever. And I'm like, okay, he's versatile, he can do that stuff. But this one he is again, and I was like, and I can watch gay scenes, no problem. It's okay, I can do it. But if it's somebody,
you've had a lot of dicks, I get it.
I've seen a lot, but if it's him because he played Ron Swanson, I'm like, why do they have to do that to me? Why do they have to make him gay when he's supposed to be this epitome? Ron Swanson's supposed to be this epitome of that all guys want to be Ron Swanson, and then he plays somebody gay. And then I was watching it, and then later on I was like, if you are a straight person and you're playing a gay person, I understand that you're acting, and maybe you think that makes you a good actor and you're a versatile actor. But at the same time, is that not homosexual appropriation?
You know what? I think there's no such thing as totally gay, totally straight. Like, I think there's a spectrum. Like you're the Kinsey scale. You've heard of it, right?
The what scale?
Kinsey scale?
No, please elaborate. I don't know what this.
Okay, so there's this scale that says sexuality ranges between 0 to 6, and at the 0, I think it's completely gay, and at 6, you're completely straight, and most people fall in the middle. And so I would say, like, sexually, I'm more attracted to guys, but I can fall in love with either gender. And so, like, I fell in love with a woman and I married a woman, and that's where I am. And so, I'm more like a 3 or 4. In, and so, you might be like a 1 or a 2 because you don't mind penises. You like watching
You don't
penises
mind
in
penises?
porn. And so that's where you are. And like with women, they may have a lesbianic experience, or they may think women are pretty, and that's on the scale. But it's somewhere in there. So I think most people are either not 100% straight, not 100% gay. They're somewhere on a spectrum.
Uh-huh. I think that I can see that opinion totally. I think it's just hard for me to watch Ron Swanson as a gay character. Like, I can watch gay scenes. I can't watch
He
Ron
was literally
Swanson.
covering his
I
eyes.
can't
and
watch Ron
Tell me
Swanson.
when it's over. I don't want to see Ron this way.
Ron
I can't do
Swanson.
it.
I couldn't see him. That was like, I can't do it. Why are you doing this to me, Ron Swanson? I can't imagine the guy who typically eats a turkey leg wrapped in bacon in that particular scene. Yeah, I agree about that whole thing, because if I watch porn, I don't want to see a tiny
I hate
penis.
lesbian porn. It bores me.
I like lesbian porn.
There's too much plot.
It's too much plot. You're like, how are they going to get anything done? This is the longest porn ever, because they just keep going and going and going.
Yeah,
and
Right.
I mean,
going.
how do you know when you're done? For real.
When they're exhausted.
You
They're
can't do
either
it
exhausted,
anymore.
they're exhausted, or they're dead. One of the two. Who knows which way? I don't know. I don't know these things. Anyway, that was what I had.
I've learned how to I've learned how to. Too much info. Never mind.
Oh, you can go there. It's okay.
He said it's enough. He's like,
no.
it's like
I'm not gonna do
disregard.
it.
I'm not gonna do it. Disregard. Not gonna do
He
it.
wants to though.
All
He
right, then,
wants
I'll
to.
go.
He's doing it.
That was not. You did not take much coaxing whatsoever. I was letting it go. I was letting it go, and I was moving on. So clearly,
move on. I'm fine.
you just wanted to tell us.
I'm fine.
Are you
Go,
sure?
move on.
You're sure you don't want to?
No, you know you do.
It almost feels like pretty sure he wants to say.
He wants
something.
to. He wants to. He just wants you to beg him for it.
I like begging.
Yeah.
Greetings, you begging. So I've learned how to I've learned how to make my wife come in 5 minutes or less, just because then I can come. I don't want to leave anyone out.
What'd you do? What'd you do? Show her how much Swan makes a year?
Hi-yo.
Hi-yo. That'll make most people come.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah. He's kind of jealous. I got a raise, making more than he does.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, here's the new thing. So apparently you guys are like texty pals now. Is that the thing?
Yeah, we're besties.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Like,
We're
you know where she works and everything.
Yeah, we're besties.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's good. Good
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
We can create a group
Yeah.
chat. I'm not about that.
If
you
I don't
want to
like to
get
bother
in
people.
on this,
I don't like to bother people.
He hates
I'm
group
the same
chat.
way. She started texting me. I'm like, okay, great.
She just needs to settle down.
Hey, I gave you good advice.
Biggest ass you've ever seen.
Yeah,
It's true.
that's your call sign, Swan.
Biggest ass I've ever seen.
Biggest ass you've ever seen.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Well, now that we're halfway in, I don't even know if I should even talk about.
That's what he said.
Hi-yo. The guy with
If
the
you have that
10-inch
really giant penis, exactly. He's only halfway in.
See, and that would suck for him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely would.
I mean, you'd have to be a freaking sword swallower to like.
What would you like? Girth or length?
Me personally, or Swan?
Yeah.
I think.
You straight man, let's go.
Yeah. For personal experience, for yourself, or for giving or receiving, or what?
What would be less intrusive, less scary for you?
Who are you talking to?
Either one. This is a general question. Where's Jumanji?
Yeah, where's Jumanji?
I mean, I think for me personally, with the penis, I don't want a big, I mean, not for my own, but for receiving. I don't think it needs to be bigger than like, I don't know, like if it's like as big around as your arm and like a freaking foot long, that's
Yeah.
scary. Nobody wants that. Like you can't, exactly. Nobody wants that. You can't even like give head with that efficiently because what you're gonna like lick the end and that's it, because that's not, you have to be a sword swallower to like do anything with that. No.
Unhinge your
Right.
jaw.
Yeah,
Like,
unhinge your
Oh
jaw.
my So I can say this here. I couldn't say it. Like my daughter likes Korean hot dogs. Have you seen them?
No.
Like
No.
they're like fried hot dogs.
Okay.
Look them up. Like they're huge. But they show these Korean women shoving the whole thing in, and my mind totally goes sexual. And I'm there with my daughter, and I'm like, stop these dogs.
Stop eating
Stop
hot
these
dogs.
dogs.
Stop eating the hot dog. Stop eating and enjoying this hot dog.
I mean, like the size of a banana
Yeah, you
is
make
okay.
it look
You can
good.
have a
Is that
banana.
tasty?
You can like back to your banana story. I mean, you can do a banana pretty well, but when you have a giant cucumber, that's bad. Yeah. So,
Interesting. I don't even know
how
what
do
to
you
say
want
about
your
that.
penis?
Pretty happy.
With relish.
With relish,
Pretty
mustard,
happy
mayo.
with mine. What I've noticed is, I'm glad my son's gonna probably listen to this. I always feel bad for him.
I mean, your daughter, you can. I've seen your dad's penis. Like, we're gonna go back to those conversations. Everyone's seen their dad's penis.
Yeah, I always feel bad for my son because my son's like my best friend, and so he, I'm always like, "Did you listen to my podcast?" And he's always like, "I don't know." He's like, "I've listened to your podcast." He's like, "I don't know how I feel about your humor sometimes," and I'll say kinds of shit. And he's like, "Oh, sometimes I can't listen to what you do in your podcast." Like, okay, well that's fine. I watch his streams, and so he's a Twitch streamer, so I watch his stuff. And a lot of times,
Okay.
I'll get banned on stuff that I say, but so I will say this: I'm pretty happy with the size of my penis if it's fully erect. If it's not fully erect, I'm not happy with it. I find that around Swan, it's not fully erect, but any other time, it's fine.
That's harsh.
Wow.
You
I'm
might as well
sorry,
then
Swan.
go fuck yourself.
Uh,
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
Okay. So I got a video for you guys, and
God.
I'm gonna try to share it with you.
he's gonna
It's
try to share
nothing. It's not porn. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Oh, darn.
he's gonna try to share.
Do you see that?
Why is it so tiny?
I can't
Can
see
I add it to the stream?
You can't see it. I can't see it. Is
Add
it in
it
the
to the
chat?
stream.
Let's see here.
Okay.
Okay. Nope.
It's like a corn dog, right?
But giant. Look
Oh
how
my
big
God.
that is.
What is all over that? That does not. That one looks good.
That's mustard and ketchup.
Okay,
it
that one's
looks
fine.
like.
But there was one that had like pineapple or tofu or something on it.
Yeah, that's not.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're so good, you guys.
We're going to have to get some Korean
Ooh.
hot dogs, but we're not going to take videos of us eating them.
That will
'cause that's
probably,
just
we'll
nasty.
have to wait for like 10 years for them to come to Michigan. Yeah, that doesn't
See,
look
that
good.
But you
one
know
looks
how
bad. Yeah.
That looks like a turd. The potato dog.
it looks like like you know how the Asian women have small mouths usually, not to stereotype, but it looks like they're putting this giant penis in their mouth. It's kind of disturbing
Well, we have to
in a
find,
good way.
have to find videos of that. We might have to link that one on our podcast.
Yeah.
That was disturbing. Thank you for the disturbing, and we might need we might have to have a palate cleanser after that. We might have to roll the commercial. Let's roll the commercial. That'll be our palate cleanser.
Okay.
Hey there, members of the Great Slaptail Nation. It's me, the Beaveman, and I'm here to deliver you a message from beyond the stars about our sponsor for this episode, Swiss Navy. No matter who you love or how you love, Swiss Navy products set the bar for sexual enhancement. There's more glide, more comfort, and even products for longer-lasting pleasure. Swiss Navy has a wide range of premium products to choose from for whatever amount fills your hole, if you know what I mean. My favorite product is Swiss Navy's silicone lube. Get it, use it, love it, and never be dry again. Once again, that's Swiss Navy at SwissNavy.com. And in your order comments, let them know the Slaptail Squad sent you. Swiss Navy, no matter who you love or how you love. Adios, mooch fuckos. I really think that they should be using that phrase, never be dry again. I really think that should be on their website.
I think it should be.
Never be dry again.
Yeah.
I've used Swiss Navy. It's good.
It's really good.
The
Man, is it
silicone
good.
one. That's our favorite.
It's awesome. I mean, we don't use it often.
Yeah, that bottle's gonna last us like a year.
It's gonna,
like
year,
lifetime.
it's already lasted us like a year.
Oh, it's a
Be
big
like
bottle.
lifetime.
Lifetime.
You got those giant bottles?
Like the it comes in a gallon size jug.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
we don't
yeah.
have that one, but
No.
it comes in that size for sure.
I think that's designed though to fill out other bottles. I don't think it's just,
Just dip your whole body in it. Like
it's got a big receptacle opening and you just put your penis in there.
It's good for fisting. You just get in there. I'm ready. I'm ready for surgery.
Are you familiar with that website, Make Love Not Porn? Have you heard of them? It's like MLNP.
No, but I'm gonna look now.
Totally should look them up. Apparently, I think the founder did a TED talk and everything. Very cool lady. But they send you emails like, I don't know, 2-3 times a week, and they always put the most interesting titles on there. And I think one time they sent me one. It was like, how to initiate fisting or something like that. And I was like, you're like, can you imagine if you're like opening these emails in front of other people? Like, you don't even have to open the email, but the heading itself is curious about fisting or what, or you're like, how to have a threesome. You're like, what the fuck, man? Can you be a little bit more discreet? I know I subscribe to these emails, but sometimes I kind of want you to back it off a little bit. It's just hilarious, some of the stuff that they put on there. Very open sexually.
One of my favorite jokes is about a fisting joke.
Oh, please, let's hear it. You got it.
So I'm kinky, and someone asked,
"Make us laugh, motherfucker!"
Dance, monkey, dance. So I'm kinky, right? And someone asked me if I've ever fisted anybody. Of course, who hasn't? But then they asked me, have I ever fisted with my bad hand? No. No, and here's why. I'm pretty sure I could get it up there, but I'm not so sure I could pull it out. Then I'd just be that creepy puppeteer that no one wants around.
Like the trip to the ER.
Help! Look, I make him talk.
You're like, hi-yo, Kermit the Frog here.
Poor Kermit.
Oh man, what's funny about that joke is you laugh all the way through it. I was like, I just kept laughing. I'm like, I don't even know if he's gonna get to the punchline because I keep laughing about the whole thing. Like, oh my gosh! Once you're up there, do you just try it on for size to see if you can open your hand and then close it again, or you just?
Oh my god, I've fisted a lot of guys. Like.
I'm getting a headache.
It's a skill. It's a skill. Like I try to make like hand puppets while I'm up there. I'm like, hello.
You're like, what letter is this? I'm doing sign language right now.
I'm writing your name. I'm writing your name on your small intestine. Here we go.
That was actually funny, Swan. You actually said something funny. Yeah.
Ta-da!
Yeah, it's so rare. It
My
happens
once
so very
for the
rare.
year.
Do you
I
ever?
thought about going for my doctorate in social work or my PhD in psychology, and then I was just like, I'm tired. I'm too tired for this shit. I don't want to do it.
Well, I mean, what would change if you did? That's why I always you have to always look at
Nothing.
things like, would anything change if I did? And you're like, nah, nothing's really gonna
No,
change.
like I would get people to call me doctor and mean it. Like I would, you know.
Nobody calls me that. Nobody calls me doctor.
Yeah, and so you keep
Yeah,
trying
but
to
you
convince.
work.
Go ahead.
Sorry, guy. No, you're.
I was like, you
Please.
keep trying to convince me to go back to school, but I'm like, why? What's the point? I can sit at home and make more money than you.
No, I always try to convince you to go back for like an administrative degree.
Yeah, but I actually don't want that because I don't want that
Whatever.
accountability and responsibility and to be the fall guy when shit goes bad. So, yeah.
I was working for, and they had this thing where they would pay. They partnered with, and so I was thinking about it, but then I'm like, it's too much work.
Yeah, and then I mean, I don't know. It's whatever it is. I mean, I have my master's and my doctorate, so
Ooh, fancy.
well, I mean, so I'm just saying it didn't change anything. I became an NP as a master. I mean, before the doctorate
Right.
was, before that was really out there. So
I thought about going to nursing school, and the chemistry stopped me. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it.
well, and it would be really hard because they would expect you to cath penises, and you got to have 2 hands for that.
Yeah,
You'd be
yeah.
like, here, hold this with your own hand. Well,
Some of those penises go crazy too. They
I'm
like
like-
flopping all over the place.
But it's an ADA thing, and I could figure out how to do it with one hand. You just have to clamp the penis,
You're like, hold on, I'm gonna use this special adaptive tool.
You're like it's a new technique.
Well, I wouldn't go to be an RN. I would have gone just to be like an NPP. So I would have gone straight from RN to MSN and do a easy clinical, like in a clinic.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I
mean,
put some thought into this.
Yeah, you could always, but if you had to do it, you're like, it's a little unorthodox, but I'm going to use my mouth to hold your penis in place.
I promise not to get any enjoyment.
I'll promise if you promise. My mouth, first I'm going to iodine. I'm going to go ahead and sanitize my mouth. And
here, watch. Is that mouthwash?
Yeah.
No, it's not as tasty. It's pure alcohol.
Like I said,
Ooh, I got a buzz.
It's like, it's a little unorthodox. It's fine. This is big in Europe. Amsterdam. This is how it's done in Amsterdam.
The reason I thought about doing it though was because I was seeing people in a private practice, and the insurance companies weren't reimbursing me well, and I thought if I could prescribe medication, I could get a lot more money for a lot less time.
Yeah, I mean, if you were in a state that, if you're in a state that doesn't require a collaborative practice, it's a pretty good,
right.
It would be a good gig. New Jersey, I think, has collaborative practice.
Yeah, I would license in New York because that's where I'm licensed as a social worker.
Gotcha.
So
pretty much we're not even going to talk about what I was going to talk about, which is fine. That's all good for me. Let me
want to talk about penises again?
Kind of do.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? I'm so glad that I told some of the people I work with that they should listen to my podcast, especially if they haven't listened yet. It's good that they're going to start with this one.
Yeah, you want to break them in slowly.
I want to break them in slowly. It's like fisting. You got to do it. Yeah, I'm assuming you have to do it slowly. You can't just go. You can't just go.
Yeah,
right
you can't go fast and furious at first. You got to go in. Then when they're loose enough, then you go, and you make that face.
Swan later.
No, with you're saying you're interested?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, neither am I.
Well, it's good because I was not either.
Good.
Just saying.
Anyways.
I throw that out there. So talk us through then your day when you have a gig. How much time? I mean, if you go there, let's say you're already booked.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I have a terrible memory, and so when I do longer sets, like when I do 45 minutes to an hour sets, I get worried that I won't remember things. So what I've started to do is write out this very long set list and hand it to an audience member and say, I did a lot of drugs. I have a brain injury. I can't remember anything. Please, if I lose my place or forget something, I'm just going to yell out joke. And you yell out something that on the paper. And usually when I see how the crowd is, I will hand that to one of the loud, obnoxious people to make them feel like they're part of the show.
Wow.
And so sometimes they'll yell out a joke I don't want to do or I don't remember. I'm like, that joke sucks. Give me another one.
That's pretty cool. So you've almost like diffused a situation from even happening.
Right.
And made them part of the show. And they're probably paying more attention to your sheet
Than to my jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
pretty smart.
I actually did that a while ago, and like I gave it to the woman who was heckling everybody. I'm like, I know that I went on stage. I go, something's telling me this is a bad idea, but there's another part of me going, just do it. Like, let's see what happens.
That's really smart. So let me ask you this question then, because obviously we're curious because we don't know anything because we're from the Midwest and we're not in showbiz. Well,
you are in showbiz.
We podcast. So do most places actually have like do you hang out and just watch the other comedians, or do you like have a place where you guys chill out together before you go out? I mean, most places are pretty small, right?
Most places are pretty small. They either they have a backstage or a like green room, or you sit at the bar, like
And do you ever go to shows where you get bumped by like quote big comedians because they come in and they want to work on their shit?
Not real. I mean, it happened years ago, but not really lately.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You hear horror stories. I used to listen to Mark Maron a lot, but not so much anymore. I do like listening to him. I just haven't listened to him for a while. But he, obviously interviews a lot of comedians and stuff, and they always talk about, getting bumped by big names and stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of unfair, but I can see that it happening. And they'll be up on stage for like an hour and a half, and you're like just trying to do your 5 minutes or.
And that's insane. A dick move. Like, that's a real dick move. Like, be aware of the people behind you and in front of you,
Yeah, for sure. Who are some of the some of the people that you typically run around with? Anybody we'd heard of?
No.
You're like, no. So, like, well, yeah, I mean, if you're not part of the comedy scene, because apparently we don't know that stuff. I mean, I guess that like New England has its own scene. Chicago has its kind of own scene.
Yeah. And, so Aaron Berg, do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did his podcast and he had me on one of his shows and it was a lot of fun. And like I have friends from, like, I was really popular 2005 to 2007, and then I left for like 7, 8 years. And then, so people I came up with were like Baron Vaughn, who's on Gracie and Frankie, Michelle Buteau, who has has a TV show on BET and like a bunch of movies, and Gina Brion and Amy Schumer, and like Jessica Kirson is one of my favorite comics, but like she's not a top name, but most people know her. So
yeah. No, I think that's cool. But from that, I guess, like I said, we said before, I'm like, we got to really like watch more comics because my exposure to comics is you watch a lot of people produce their own stuff or picks them up on Netflix. I think it's really smart, or like they do the Roku or whatever. And that's how you see them. Like that's how us normal folks see them that are not around big comedy towns. And then just trying to start more exposure where you can go actually see comics and stuff local or whatever, or maybe they're traveling comics, which is nice, but you don't get to see all these like bread and butter comedians, which I think would be really cool.
And like I don't think I have any like real TV credits to speak of, and so it's I'm still trying to work on getting known and all of that.
Yeah.
So
How many TV credits do you have so far?
I think the biggest TV shows I've done were cable, like Comcast. The biggest thing I've ever done was Opie and Anthony, and that was the best. That was the best thing that could happen for my career, and it started my like exit from stand up.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Cause like I don't know if I told you this last time, but I stopped stand up for a while because I got very successful and I got scared. Like,
Oh.
and I didn't like the attention I got when I got it, and I started having panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Fuck this! I'm leaving."
So what if you would have got bigger? You could have just had Michael Jackson's doctor, and you'd have been fine.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah,
would have been
exactly.
dead. I have a drug
You'd have
problem.
you'd have
I have,
slept well.
I have a drug history. I didn't
Yeah.
need any help.
Yeah, like right.
I once didn't get arrested because the arresting officer saw me do comedy.
I mean, I have sort of a similar story. Mine's not nearly as cool.
Tell me.
No, it's not nearly as cool. I just got out of traffic tickets because I was an ER nurse.
Bullshit. Like we both.
What do you mean bullshit?
It's bullshit. We both like literally we would leave work and there would be a speed trap. We both got pulled over. He got rough night at the ER, Beaveman. He's like, yeah, going home to sleep. Yeah, it was pretty tough. Okay, drive safe. I got a freaking ticket. Are you kidding? Same.
Dude, that sucks.
Yeah, I was like, this is bullshit.
I got out. I've got out of 2 of them. That's it.
I've never got.
I was recognized as an ER nurse, but that was it.
I was buying crack, and I was buying crack, and the cop was like, a couple of weeks ago, the cop saw me walking by. I was like, trying to buy crack, and like I was going to the spot, and the cop was there, and so I was like, okay, keep on walking, and he stopped me, and he's like, man, I saw you at a comedy club. You're really funny. I'm like, thank you. Let me keep on walking. And then a few weeks later, I was in the middle of buying some, and the cops came up on us, and they were like, man, you're doing this? You have so much sound. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to get high.
You're like, don't you have better things? Oh, you never say that. I'm like, don't you have better things to do than to bust people for buying crack? Seriously.
I mean, it's a victimless crime, not really, but
no, not really. But you're like, I feel like there's other things that you probably could be doing that might be more important. I don't know.
Search for my hit and run driver in the future.
Exactly. No, I think that well, I mean, maybe he was like, yeah, maybe this is going to help this guy's comedy if he gets a little bit of crack.
So what he did was he's like, okay, he walked away. And he came back. He goes, okay, I'm going to let you both go. You go that way and you go that way. I don't want to see you again. So I had to find a different corner to buy crack.
Maybe he was hoping by letting you go, you would get your shit together. I don't know, in some deep fucked up issue.
Okay,
maybe it didn't happen that night, but
maybe he'll feel guilty and he won't buy this crack.
I feel like it more like they just don't want to deal with it.
Probably. Yeah.
Listen, I was glad because I did not want to have a record for buying crack.
Yeah,
well, especially if
nobody does. I don't think anybody does. Like, yes, here's my goal. I want to be arrested for buying crack.
I did get arrested for a demonstration. Like I was protesting and they arrested me, and I got hit on in prison that night.
You're like, thanks.
Were you protesting circumcision?
Yes.
One of those guys. Yep. One of those.
And I woke up on the bench with a boner, and I went. Some guy looked at me and was like, "Do you need help with that?" I'm like, "No, thanks, I'm good."
Well, that's impressive because if I woke up with a boner, nobody's gonna notice.
Hiyo.
Even if I was wearing sweatpants.
Oh, I'd notice, buddy. Come here.
Oh,
Show me.
you probably wouldn't notice. You probably wouldn't notice, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Well, I think it might be that time of the show where we give our suggestions this week.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, we already talked about The Last of Us. Pretty good show. I definitely recommend it. If you're a big Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman fan,
Close your eyes.
hold your breath, close your eyes,
Or maybe watch extra because he's shirtless.
or respect his acting ability. Maybe that's what you need to do. Don't picture it being Ron Swanson, and you'll be all right.
I mean, I feel like he did a very good job acting. So,
Well, he's a good actor.
okay, then maybe that's what
I
his
love
goal
him.
was.
He's one of my favorites. Other show that I would totally recommend, though, totally doesn't make any sense, though, movie by BJ Novak, Vengeance. It's on Amazon Prime streaming. It's really pretty good, but their idea of what happens with podcasting is way the fuck off base. They think that people there's major networks of people with huge teams creating podcasts. I'm like, I don't know where that's happening. Unless everybody in this fantasy world is Joe Rogan. I don't know where that's freaking happening. Because most podcasters podcast from their office or their basement or their living room or their dining room or their bedroom.
I'm in my bedroom right now.
There you
It's
go.
where the magic happens, folks.
Not ours. Not much magic going on there.
Yo.
And that's okay.
I mean, I feel like it happened just the other day. You're fine.
And
You're
that's
good for like another 6 months.
and that's okay.
That's so sad, you
Just
guys.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna cry for you.
Let me tell you, I'm going to say, I spent a good 15 years showering Swan with sexual attention and trying to have sex with her and being shot down all the time. And finally now for the past couple of years, I'm like, you know what? I give up. And so now I no longer care.
You've lost that love and feeling.
Yep. I've lost it. So now she has no one to blame but herself. Maybe she's happy. I don't know.
Maybe.
And that's okay because I don't care.
There you go.
Aw,
There you go.
I
Swan,
feel for you, buddy.
He's all right. He's
it's
all right.
okay. I've got porn as long as I don't get distracted
As
by
long
an
as the
odd looking
internet
penis.
isn't down.
As long as I don't get
Okay.
distracted by an odd looking penis, life is good. I was so distracted. I'm like Googling, is this penis normal? I've seen lots of penises in my day. I don't recall this type of penis before.
It even surpassed the catheter guy.
Oh yeah, I mean that guy was impressive. I remember one time I walked in because they still basically have the same kind of gurneys that we had, where it's got that that kind of cage side that flips up,
Yeah.
and it's got the bars along it. I walked in one time and this old dude's penis was hanging between the bars and hanging off the side of the bed, and he was on his side. He was on his side, kind of in the middle of the cot, and I was like, that's not normal. Very impressive, but not normal. Gigantic.
I've seen a lot as well being a nurse.
She
But
has to throw that caveat in there.
No,
as well being a
yeah.
nurse.
being a nurse, yeah. There's
Being a
only
nurse.
been that 2 that have been terrible and gigantic like that. This one dude was probably like late 60s, early 70s, and he had an amputation of his leg, like right below the knee, and his penis hung down below his amputation. I was like, this is nasty. It was
That's incredible.
I was like, that is so gross.
Like God takes away one limb, he gives you another.
Exactly. I was like, he could stand up with that thing. It's not good. It's bad. And he had a penile
He
pump.
could win his own three-legged
He
race.
could. Yeah. And he had a penile pump. It was so gross. He's like, do you want to see it? I'm like, no. No, I do not.
Exactly,
Nope.
you want to see
He's
it.
like, you just gotta squeeze my balls. And I was like, nope, no, thank you. I do not.
You gotta admire him for trying though.
He did try. It was just gross.
I had an operation when I was like 21, and the nurse's aide came in and hit on me. I loved it.
What?
I loved it.
So unprofessional.
she was like, "I'm here for your sponge bath." I'm like, "Ooh, mamacita."
All right. Well, I mean, I had
I
one.
got one.
I've had one before. It's the most unpleasant thing ever. It
She
is.
made
Yours-
it fun.
She made it fun for you. Well, his was done by like a 73-year-old woman. No.
No, I had it done. They did it when I broke my neck. I had multiple sponge baths, and they were I had them from nursing students and all the kinds of stuff. And I was like, this is fucking horrible, terrible.
There was a male nurse who used to like he would get his penis and put it on my knee while he was taking my blood pressure.
What?
And
What
he
the
was
fuck?
like, your blood pressure's high. I'm like, your penis is on my knee.
You're like, I can
Of
feel.
course it's
You're
high.
like, I can feel your pulse.
That's
Disgusting.
terrible.
That's not right. What
And
hospital
then,
were you in?
wait,
Where are these hospitals you're
it
going
was
to?
a clinic. It was a clinic. It was the so he must have done it to lots of people.
You're like, and that's your problem right there. Keep your penis to yourself.
Yeah, I've often noticed that where people like, do you have like no concept of where your body parts go? You ever notice that? I don't see it so much in it, but when I was younger, like when you would go to get your hair cut, the women would always put their boobs on your head or on your back. And I'm like,
where did you go for haircuts?
But it was
Teddy's
like
our
always,
husband.
it was just like always like that. I'm like, why? I'm like, you know where your body is. Why are you? I mean, I don't think you have to touch me to cut my hair.
They were trying to hit on you and you're just like oblivious to it.
I was like, you'd kind of move a little bit and the boob would be right back there. And you're like, I don't know why this boob's on my back and shoulder.
The boob's coming back.
back
Hold
up.
on.
Back of my head, slapping me on the side of my face, things like that. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Right.
Anyway, where was I? What was I talking about?
You were talking about your show recommendations.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
got
that was-
distracted again by the penis.
Yes. Vengeance. Pretty good show. Totally off base on podcasts, in my opinion. Unless that world exists somewhere that I'm not aware of. But nobody's producing my podcast. I do it all natural here.
Yeah.
Swan, any recommendations this week?
I don't think so because we watched the same things. So, I mean, unless you want to count the fact that when I couldn't sleep the other night, I binged the entire season of The Real World New Jersey.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't
There's
know.
a Real World New Jersey?
I think it was New Jersey. Yeah.
Okay, I did not realize that.
Yeah. Maybe it's Staten Island or whatever, but it's like New Jersey area. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I did.
Thanks for that recommendation.
I was I was did you see my Flash t-shirt?
Oh,
Yeah. I
nice.
can see
I
that.
was I took my daughter to day camp once when she was like 3 or 5 or some age range. And one of the kids goes, "Look, the Flash." And I go, "Yes, I'm the slow Flash." And the parents started cracking up. It was fun.
Harsh. It was harsh. Harsh on yourself there. But
I smell popcorn.
what's next for you then? Anything you got to promote?
I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas in 2 weeks.
Little Rock, Arkansas in 2 weeks. What's that? What's the club there called?
The Loony Bin.
I've heard of that one. I'm also
It's gonna be an awesome show. I'm hosting for 4 days, I think. February 8th to 11th.
who's going to be there with you?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, that's it for me then. Thanks again for Mike Cotayo joining us. Oh, hold on. Let me pull.
Thanks for having me, you
Lovely.
guys. I feel so special.
Oh, let me give you the applause too for you.
Woohoo!
Yeah. All right. And we'll be back after next show. After next show, we'll probably have some updates on our Weird Al concert coming this Thursday.
Yeah.
Where
Weird
Ron's-
Al.
Yeah. Well, Ron's will not be joining us because he's working.
Son of a bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you heard last time he would drop and come to one of your shows,
Mhm.
Weird
Yeah,
Al.
sure,
So
he did say
clearly
that.
you've rated higher than his ultimate crush.
That's sad. I mean, it's not sad. Good
That's
for you.
very sweet, but
He's probably lying to you though.
he's probably lying, yeah.
Yeah, probably if you came, he'd also not go to your show.
Then I would be reverse stalking him.
That would be funny.
All right. Well, that's it for me then. Oh, I forgot to do my shout outs. God damn it. Shout out to JD Hutchins from the Monsters Lair and the Bearded Breed and all those other people with the Myriad Podcast Network. Also, shout out to Skylar Creates. He's a Twitch streamer, typically streams on Fridays and Saturdays. He brings Rim to Rim.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah, I know. I gave
He
that
gave the
name.
title to it. The
greatest talk show in the galaxy. Also, shout out to our little Croatian child, Strange Loop. He's about to do his 2-year anniversary episode at Strange_Loop, LOOPE on Twitch. And that's it for me.
That is very
You're
cool.
not going to give a shout out to Mike Cotayo?
He's right here.
Oh, well, he can shout out to himself.
I feel like I said that. Did I say
You did.
thanks to
I'm
Mike?
shouting
I
out
feel like
to
I said thanks to
myself.
Mike
You
Cotayo
did.
for joining
You
us
did.
on the Slaptail Squad.
You did. Sorry. I wasn't paying
We didn't even have
Thank
to
you,
pay him.
thank you,
We
thank
didn't-
you.
We didn't even have to pay him that much.
No.
And that's
didn't.
it for me. Adios, mooch
I'm
fuckos.
cheap labor.
Bye from the Swan.
Bye, guys.